Hello, guys, and welcome to the Big Brother Canada Season 12 rankings. And today we are going to be ranking the players of Big Brother Canada Season 12 based on their gameplay. Now, I want to preface this with I didn't actually dislike anybody in this series. It's very rare that I do watch a Big Brother series and don't dislike anyone. So there were definitely moments where I was like, I don't like you, but like I still like them as a whole. So this is not going to be a opinion on them. It's going to be an opinion on how they played the game and how well they did. It is going to be interesting. There's going to be some opinions you guys might not agree with, and that is absolutely fine. So all I ask is that you guys in the comments respect the fact that these are opinions. I'm more than happy to have debates with you, but just not rude ones, okay? But without much further ado, let's get into the video, shall we? So we are going to be talking through each of the contestants in their elimination order, how well they did. These are the categories. We've got BB Royalty, that is reserved for one person and one person only. Legendary, did they play the game absolutely phenomenally? Great game, did they play it really well and just kind of got caught out? Did they drift through the game? There's a couple of them. Did they make poor decisions that led to them leaving the game earlier than they should have? Or did they just get unlucky in certain situations? There's going to be some crossover, and I'm going to explain where I would put them. There's a couple of people that I would probably put in unlucky and great games, so we'll definitely talk through that. But without much further ado, Janine, my bestie just got unlucky, like massively unlucky, because Dougie just targeted her week one and turned the entire house against her, and it was tough to watch. It was really tough to watch, actually, because she actually didn't do anything wrong, and it did lead Dougie to have a little bit of a sort of crisis of like, am I doing the right thing? I don't even know at this point. I don't know. So I think Janine did play the game as well as she could have in the first week. I don't feel like there was anything more she could have done, because everything that Dougie was using against her was stuff that he made up. So I don't feel like she could have physically done anything. I don't want to put her in poor decisions, and she definitely didn't drift through because she went out week one. So yeah, I think that is definitely a good place for her. Donna, I'm going to put her in poor decisions. I think there were a couple of times in week two and week one where she could have been honest with people and she wasn't. And there were a lot of alliance making behind people's backs, and especially when it came to V, because V was the one that put her up and ultimately sent her home. There was just a lot of times when Donna could have been honest with V, but wasn't, and that's what ultimately led her to being kicked out of the house. V gave her multiple opportunities to open up about the supposed alliance with Vivek and Bailey and I think it was Todd, but she didn't. So yeah. And also getting into a little bit of a showmance early on with like Todd. It wasn't really a showmance, but like it was cutesy. I think that kind of hurt her as well, because V didn't see her as someone that she could trust, and so ultimately she had to go. Up next we have Dennis. Dennis got massively unlucky. Massively unlucky. And it's a shame, because I feel like he could have been a really, really good competitor in this game if he had have just let Vivek go home. If he had have just let Vivek go, I think he would have made it a lot further in this competition, because people were seeing him as a competition threat, but they weren't necessarily seeing him as a game threat until he started targeting Dougie. So there's an argument that could be made for poor decisions, because obviously he tried targeting Dougie after apparently Janine and Donna had also done the same. But I would put him in unlucky, unfortunately. In fact, I might actually put unlucky above poor decisions, because I feel like poor decisions is worse than unlucky. So yeah, I'm gonna do it like that. So yeah, unfortunately, Dennis didn't make it very far in the competition. His betrayal and exit was shocking, gutting, and I don't think he could have done anything to prevent him from like being sent home in that way. It was cruel, it was nasty, it was not very nice. It is what it is. There's not really much you can do. Vivek, you're going at the bottom of poor decisions. My God, this man won. First of all, he completely ratted out his teammates. He just seemed to be making alliances with everyone left, right, and centre. Thirdly, he became head of household and sent his best friend home in the house. The person who had saved him the week before sent him packing. And then the week after, they backdoored him in the big veto twist. I can't remember what it was called. Executive veto twist. Of course you were going home. No one can trust you. You turned on the one person in the house that had your back. You turned on him. Yeah, you made bad decisions. You actually were the worst player in this whole game. And I will stand by that. I think you're a lovely guy. You seem absolutely wonderful. But you were a bad, bad player. The fact you made it to week 4 is criminal. If you hadn't have won that week 3 Vita head of household, you would have gone home. I just hope you know that. I really hope you know that. Up next, we have Matthew. He kind of drifted through the first couple of weeks. And it was only when he started to spout off a little bit and sort of try and turn Elijah against other people in the, the Directors Alliance, that things started to become a little bit unstuck. And ultimately, I think it was Avery sent him home. Because Elijah, it was the week before with Elijah that he started to mouth off a little bit. I don't think I can put him higher than drifted through. I don't think he was unlucky. I don't think he made poor decisions. I think it just got to the point where people were persuaded against him. But he did drift through those first couple of weeks. I don't think he won any competitions, at all. So he kind of did just drift through the competition until ultimately they were like, yeah, bye-bye, Matt. Bye. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't put you any higher than drifted through. I'm wondering whether I should have had another category that was meh. But the drifted through is kind of meh, let's be honest. Elijah. I think Elijah drifted through to an extent. I think he was seen as such a pawn for many of the weeks. I mean, he was up week 2. He was up week 3. No, he wasn't. Yeah, he was. Was he? Yeah, because he was up against... Who went home week 3? Oh, yeah, Dennis. He was up against Dennis. So week 2, week 3, he was a pawn. Week 4, he was a head of household. Week 5, he was the target and then was ultimately not the target. So he drifted through again. And then week 6 was when the whole movie night massacre bullshit happened. And he should... Well, it wasn't bullshit. It was absolutely fantastic television. And he should have been safe, technically. But unfortunately, Kayla won... Well, I won't say unfortunately, because I did like Kayla. Kayla won the power of veto, took herself down, and then ultimately Elijah was put up and sent home. So he did drift through many, many weeks. 5 weeks full of eliminations. Just because people saw him as not a bigger threat as other people. And he was only taken out because it was getting down to the point where V didn't want to eliminate anybody else. Yeah, it was a shame that he had to go when he did. He was the first member of the jury, but I gotta say, he played a very good game for the most part, and I think he did well, personally. In my professional opinion, which is not very professional because I'm just a guy that talks on YouTube, he did enough to drift through the game, but not enough for me to put him in great game, personally. Up next, we have Kayla. Kayla I am going to give great game to, because she did win a couple of challenges, or she might have just won the POV when she needed to. And then the only reason why she left the game is because Elijah told her something and she made one bad decision to not tell V that she was, that Elijah had said, be careful of V. That was her one mistake. And even when she explained it, I was like, yeah, absolutely fair and valid, actually. When she was like, I didn't want to put that in your head and make you think that people were thinking that. Absolutely fair and valid. I don't know why she told Dougie. I don't know why she trusted Dougie. But I'm putting her in great game because I feel like for at least the first 6 weeks, she had a great control on the game. And it was only when Dougie decided to cut her that she left the game. And that's in my personal opinion. That was the only reason why she went home, because Dougie manipulated everyone and told them to get rid of her. So up next we have Avery. I would also put Avery in a great game position. She was head of household twice, which put her in a very, very good position twice. She sent home Matthew. She sent home... Did she send home Kayla as well? Was that the week that she sent home Kayla? I think it was. Yeah. Okay, let me defend the Matt one first. The Matt one was a great move for her game, personally. I think Matt was starting to unravel the whole hot chocolate thing and was starting to, like, target certain people within that alliance. So getting rid of him was definitely a very, very good position to be in. She was on the block week 1, but she survived that. She was on the block in the Movie Night Massacre, but obviously she was up against Elijah, so she survived that. And then she became head of household again. And this is where I can't put her in Legendary, because she messed up her game by allowing Dougie and the others to manipulate her and make her see that Kayla was more of a threat than she actually was. Kayla was the person who had her back the most in the house. That's just a fact. I'm sorry. That is just a point-blank fact. But she decided to get rid of Kayla, and ultimately that left her open and susceptible to an attack. Because next week, or the week after, Tola was in charge, and Tola decided to put her up on the block as his target to get rid of, and she ultimately went home. So it's very, very clear how, like, one bad decision can really rock your game and change it from, like, a fantastic game into, like, it was a great game. It wasn't a good game because she did make great decisions, so that's why I put her in great game. But yeah, I would feel like I feel like yeah. Up next is Tola. Tola definitely drifted through for me. His connection with Dougie and his competitiveness during veto challenges really made him seem like a threat, but nobody was ever willing to take that punch and actually evict him. He was up for nomination in week 4 against Todd, and ultimately Todd was taken down and Vivek was sent home. He was up for nomination, I'm sure he was up for nomination again. I can't remember when though. Was he up for nomination against Kayla in Avery's week? Was that what it was? I can't remember off the top of my head. But either way, oh yeah, yeah. That is what happened. So Todd was up again, but again, Kayla was sent home. Then he became head of household, winning his first competition of the series. I don't think he's won any other competitions. He's come incredibly close many, many times. But this was the first time he won a competition. I was about to say won a competition. That is not correct English. So, obviously, he made a big move to get rid of Avery. The plan played out perfectly. But then, obviously, in the double eviction, he got sent straight home. So, I can't put him in great game because I don't feel like he ever actually had a control on the game. I feel like Kayla did, in the sense of, like, her, Avery, and V were always sort of, like, manipulating things. One week it was V, then it was Avery, then it was Elijah, then it was XYZ. It just made it so that Kayla always had her finger in some kind of pie in the HOH room. With Avery, I think the same thing. She was head of household twice. With Tola, he was only head of household once, but the rest of the game he kind of just drifted through because there were other bigger targets that people wanted to get rid of. So I never really felt like he had complete and utter power because Dougie was the one that was doing him the entire time. As for V, I'm going to put her in Legendary. And the reason why I'm going to put her in Legendary is this woman made it to week 9. Week 9 without ever touching the block or anyone even remotely wanting to put her near the block. She was in such a comfortable position, but not in a drifting through kind of way, in a I've made sure I'm comfortable. I have grafted, I've made work, and I've made sure that I have connections with everyone in this house and no one will ever put me up. She had a final two with Dougie. She had a girls' alliance. She had hot chocolate. She had a connection with Todd because of the whole I saved you from the veto thing. I saved you from the block with the executive veto. And obviously, kind of with Todd, but not Todd, Tola, but that was more of an extension because of Dougie. She managed to make sure that every single person didn't see her as a threat because she'd throw competitions. She'd unluckily get some by just being stupid. She was head of household 3 times. 3 times in this competition. Was it 3 times? Yeah, she was, because she was head of household in week 2. She was head of household during the movie night massacre, which was gifted to her. And she was also, by luck, given it during the double eviction. Each one of these, you could argue that she drifted through. You could argue she had a great game. But the reason why I'm putting her in Legendary is because until Dougie put her up on that block and manipulated the other 3 housemates against her, she was going to the end. There was no way she wasn't. Because every single person in that room, maybe bar Lexus, would have, and maybe Todd actually, would have taken her over her competitors. And even then, she could have worked on the other 2. So I think I'm putting her in Legendary just because absolutely she played a blinder. And it was only when Dougie decided to pull the rug from under her, that's what sent her packing. It's a shame. I was gutted to see her go. Up next, we have Todd. I'm putting him in the top of great game. I don't feel like he drifted through once. And the reason I say this is, this man won so many challenges. And he saved himself at every single corner, saved his friends at every single corner, and made sure that he was never in any serious threat of going home. I think the closest he came to going home was the executive veto, but even then, he was seen as an ally and an asset rather than someone that should be sent home. I think he had a great game personally. Was he ever head of household? No. Was he ever actually influential in any decisions? No. But that's how you get through in this game. That's how you make sure that you are in the strongest position you can possibly be. Yeah, I'm sticking to a great game. He made it to top 4, and the only reason why he got cut is because him and Bailey didn't manage to win the final veto. That's the only reason why he got sent home. Because obviously, what's his face? Dougie was going to save Lexus. Lexus was going to save Dougie. So there was actually not much he could do. He was up on the block 3 times, 4 times, something like that. And he survived every single time, apart from the last time. Yeah. So I'm putting him at the top of great game. Now, with Lexus, part of me wants to put her here. But also, for the reasons I've just given for Todd, I have to respect the game. She had an alliance with the girls. She had an alliance with Matthew. She had an alliance with Dougie. She had an alliance with Hot Chocolate. She had her fingers in so many different pies, and that's ultimately what got her to the end. The only reason why she didn't make it top 2 is because Dougie thought he could win against Bailey. More on that later. Yeah, I don't know. I think I wanted to put her in Drifted Through because I feel like she really did. She didn't touch the block until literally the final episode. That's a lie. She did touch the block a couple of episodes before. But either way, she did kind of drift through a little bit. But she did win enough competitions to mean that she had some power in the game. I think she won 2 or 3 power veto competitions in the time in the house, which is roughly the same as Todd. So I can't fault her too much. But yeah, it was frustrating to me that like everyone was always talking about getting rid of Lexus and no one actually did until Dougie cut her at top 2. Speaking of Dougie, why am I putting him below V? Because he actually has a brilliant plan for to get into top 2, and then his decisions come back and haunt him. He can get to top 2 very easily. He made it to top 2 in his previous season, didn't win. He made it to his top 2 on this season, and I watched him categorically alienate every single one of the jury members as they were being evicted. Elijah was the only one that I don't think he truly pissed off, but Kayla was never going to vote for him. Avery, never going to vote for him. V, never going to vote for him. Tola seemed really, really pissed off. Like, really pissed off that he didn't have his back in the competition. And then you also have Todd, who was obviously going to vote for Bailey if she made it to top 2. And then you have Lexus, who you literally cut at the last minute, even though you'd been preaching loyalty this entire time. I genuinely do believe Dougie could have won if he took Lexus to the final, because I think that the jury were more annoyed that Lexus would have made it to the top 2 because she'd done pretty much fuck all during the game, than Dougie backstabbing each of them. His decision to take Bailey to the top 2 cost him this game, and that's why I can't put him any higher. As much as V got cut by Dougie and she didn't make it to the end of the game, Dougie made great choices for himself during the game, but they absolutely destroyed any hope of him winning the game week on week. As much as he was a great player and made it top 2. I don't know whether it's the same as the US version, where second place also gets like a cash prize of 75,000 or something like that. But like, I'm assuming not, because the winner only gets 100k on this. But I don't know whether he actually won anything. A little bit awkward, because Bailey, she's BB royalty. It was week 2 when she had that argument with Vivek, and then week 3 when she ended up on the block, and I was like, don't send her home. I don't want to see Bailey go. I'm really vibing with this girl right now. She's so much fun. She brings like a whole different energy, and her facial expressions and the way she engages with the game. She was always somebody's target to go home. Always. Every single week. But she had enough of a sway and a connection with people that always made them go, actually, we're not going to send you home this week. Even though we're putting you up on the block, you're not going home this week. She had a connection with Todd that really helped her throughout the game, because I think Bailey saved Todd, Todd saved Bailey. It was that kind of vibe. I gotta say, she played a blinder. I did not think going into this that she would make top 2. I really didn't. Even when it was top 3, and Dougie won, I did not think that Bailey was going to make top 2. And when she did, I knew it was over. I knew that the jury would vote for her. She played a fantastic game, because was she instrumental in taking every single person in the jury out? Yes, absolutely. Apart from Todd and Lexus. They were the only two that didn't. She didn't have a say in. Was she instrumental in the others though? Absolutely. She voted for each of them to leave. But did any of them actually leave with a sour taste in their mouth of Bailey? No. They all really liked Bailey. They all thought that she actually played the best game, because she was honest when she needed to be. She made sure she had actual connections with people in the house, and she never backstabbed and manipulated people for the sake of her own game like Dougie did. Dougie categorically got rid of every single person from Kayla onwards. Categorically. Apart from Tola. I won't give him props for Tola, but he did vote Tola out. He didn't even give him a sympathy vote. So, I don't know. Say what you want about it. That's just how I feel. So, yeah. That is the list. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy. The reason she's BB Royalty, she's my queen. She's incredible. She deserves the crown. And I am very happy to see what she does next. I want her on All-Stars. Give her an All-Stars series, please. But until then, thank you guys very, very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you guys later. Keep on ranting. Bye now.